Hi, everybody. My name is John DePietro.
And I'm Bob Zagami with the Camper Report Show.
Not just any Camper Report show, Bob.
Oh,
This is a
not
very
this week.
special Camper Report show. What show is this?
This is show number 100.
So, who'd have thunk 2 years ago, when we were just talking with Andy and Patrick about doing a show, that we would be here 2 years later, 100 shows later, and picking up steam and, as far as I'm concerned, getting better every day.
Yeah, some thought we wouldn't get past number one, but
or we'd never make it to number one.
Never make it to number one. But the opportunity was presented by Andy and Patrick, and we certainly appreciate it. And they're a tremendous outfit to work with. Anybody
Absolutely.
that worked with them will tell you that.
On this show, rather than look back and talk about prior shows, et cetera, you know what? The only way to look ahead in life is ahead. And we're going to be talking with various members of the RV Life team that make the whole program work. And today I'm going to be speaking with Eileen Hubbard, who is the editor-in-chief of RV Life. And you're part of a program that is a brand new, innovative program. And you know what? That's going to sweep the nation, right, Bob?
It is. It has tremendous potential. We actually had the graduation ceremony today, and we'll fill you in a little bit later in the show, but it's a very active program, and I think it does have potential to go nationwide, and we're doing it in concert with the RV Technical Institute in Elkhart, Indiana.
And all the news of the week is coming up right here, courtesy of who, Bob?
The Camper Report Show and RV Life.
An RV business.
An RV business for our news section. Woodhouse Campground Magazine for our news section. We ought to, we're at a point, 100 shows, maybe we qualify for that little trailer at the end with everybody's names and what you're doing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. So let's get through this show first, and we'll talk about it right here on the Camper Report
maybe
Show.
We'll negotiate that in our next contract.
Yeah, next contract. We'll be right back, everybody. Hey, everyone, and welcome back to the news section of the Camper Report Show. Not any Camper Report Show, the 100th Camper Report Show. And Bob, you know what? It's a cheery day today that we're able to celebrate 100 shows. And when you talk about cheers, think about John Ratzenberg, who was Cliff. I think he was the mailman at the bar. Is that right?
He was the mailman at the end of the bar, right?
Yep. And he always finished his route quick, so he could be at the bar by 7:30 when Cheers went on.
Yeah.
So,
just in time for the camera. Just in time when the camera showed up, right?
Yeah, he's got a connection to the RV industry, and he's going to be appearing at a big RV industry show coming up in the next few weeks. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, because everybody knows him from Cheers, but then after Cheers, he had a program called John Ratzenberger's Made in America, where he toured the country in an RV and visited various manufacturing companies, and he had a great time doing that, fell in love with it, and wound up buying an RV for his family, did a lot of traveling in it, and now he's back with a new RV he's going to actually be in their booth at the dealer open house in Elkhart, the little guy Max, and he's got a Micro Max little Micro Max that he has when he goes camping now.
Isn't there a conflict of wording there? Little Micro Max?
No, it's Little Max and Micro Max.
Okay.
And then there's the Micro Max is a little bit smaller.
Micro Max. Does that mean it's a little smaller or a little bigger?
I don't know. Picked it up at the manufacturing plant in Pennsylvania early this year and camped across the country.
Yeah.
And then Joe Kikos, who's I believe he's the president of Little Guy Trailers, invited him to join them in their booth. So he's actually going to be in their display booth Monday and Tuesday of Dealer Open House Week. So he's
planning on going out there and
active in the industry.
We'll make sure. You know what? Here's what we'll try to do. We'll try to get an interview with him so you can find out what he's been doing since he stopped delivering mail and stopped driving around country.
He's going to be there talking to the dealers and talking to other people in the industry. And we happen to have a connection because we know the person that does a lot of his PR. So, yeah,
exactly.
we do
So,
that.
one other thing that is very interesting in the news this week is that people that own an RV that are putting them up for use, if you will, rent, I don't know if that's the right word for it, but making it available to others, their studies show that they're still making money, even though the gas was supposed to put a kibosh on RVing, which it didn't do, because as we said last year, RVers are a resilient bunch, and they're going regardless of the price of gas. Talk a little bit about that study.
Yeah, there's actually two leading companies, RVshare and Outdoorsy, that are leading the pack on setting up peer-to-peer networks for people who own an RV and they want to rent it out, much like an Airbnb. And they grew by leaps and bounds the last 2 years with COVID, because a lot of people purchased RVs and they may not have been able to afford them or wanted to offset their payments. So they put them into the peer-to-peer networks. And RVshare has over 100,000 people signed up to rent their RVs. And 60% of the owners were able to cover at least half of their monthly payment. And some people, 17% claimed that they did a survey of their people that are registered on their service. 70% claimed that they were able to pay off their vehicle entirely with the money that they get from the rental. So they give up a percentage of it. And
Interesting.
It's a very interesting way for people to get into RVing and make some money at the same time to offset their expenses.
Well, you know what, Bob, that renting an RV is kind of a not a double-edged sword, a double benefit for both the RV owner that's doing the renting, that owns it, because it gives them income, but it also gives the renter, the rentee, I guess, right? The rentee, an opportunity to find out, is RVing for them? Or is RVing from a certain class and style of RV the best for them? And we were talking today with some RV industry experts that said it should almost be mandatory that before you buy an RV, you rent it and see if it's a Class A, a Class B, or a Class C, or a towable, et cetera. But the rental scene becomes even more active in times of economic uncertainty. I'm sure you agree.
And they said that bookings were up 40% in 2022.
Yep.
And that goes in line with the increase in sales of the RVs themselves. And record sales in 2021 because of COVID. So it's a good time for people to actually start and take a look at that. And as you said, they get a chance to see if they like RVing, or also to try out different types. Because you can rent trailers, you can rent fifth wheels. There are people who rent out their units who will actually take them to the campground for you. So you don't have to worry about towing it. You don't have to have a truck. They'll deliver it to a campground and you just show up and camp for a week, and then they come back and pick it up.
Another interesting story that takes place, and by the way, all our stories come from either RV Business or Woodall's Campground Magazine, is women camping, solo women camping. And they did a big story, an interview with our friend Janine, and Janine Pettit from Girl Camper. Talk a little bit about that story.
Yeah, our friend Janine Pettit was interviewed by our friends Mike and Jennifer Wendland on one of their podcasts. And they talked about the explosive growth. There's no real study that says how many, but the estimates are that 12 to 20% of the RVers are in fact single women. And that doesn't mean that they're single by themselves. They're single. Some people think it's because they're single or widowed or divorced. No, many are actually married women whose spouse just doesn't like to go camping. And that's one of Janine's selling points. And that's her case. That's why she founded it. Her husband, fully supportive of her business, but he doesn't like to go camping. And so she actually founded the Girl Camper organization. They got chapters in 26 states now, state directors that have them. And these women go out on their camping rallies and adventures and have a great time together.
Well, there's got to be a bunch of them, because right on Facebook, there's over 300,000 members of their Facebook group. So, and And by the way, you and I are members of Girl Campers, even though
Yeah.
we didn't pass the physical to be part of it. But you don't have to be a woman to be part of Girl Campers. And
Right. Yeah.
They haven't come to us for any advice or inspiration, but nevertheless, we're still part of their membership.
Yeah, and they have a magazine, the Girl Camper magazine. You can sign up for it on their website. And in the very first year of producing the magazine, they won 2 awards,
several awards, yeah,
Ozzy and Eddie Awards that are given out for publications in the first year of the magazines. It's a real first-class magazine, that's for sure.
Great. So that's the news of the week for our show. Stay with us because we've got two great segments. Say it faster, Peter. We've been doing this for 100 times. You figure I'd know the outro. We have 2 great segments coming up. Where, Bob?
On the 100th Camper Report Show. 100,
everybody.
All right.
Mike here from RV Blogger. Don't waste hundreds of dollars on an external GPS for your RV. All you need to do is download the RV Life app right onto your phone. This app is so cool. It has RV GPS built right into it. So you can load all the specific measurements and weights for your RV. It'll give you directions safe for your RV to follow. And by the way, if you have RV Trip Wizard, directions for your trips upload into this GPS automatically.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Camper Report Show. And this is a special show because it is our 100th, not 1000th yet, but this is our 100th show. And what we decided to do this time is shake the format up a little bit. Instead of talking about what some of our best viewed segments were in the past year, what we decided to do was take you right into the RV Life offices and have you meet some of the additional staff that make our show so special and make our app and whole organization with over 1.6 million RVers, what makes it click. And today we're talking with Eileen Hubbard, and Eileen is the editor-in-chief of RV Life. Eileen, welcome to your own show.
Thanks, John. And congratulations on the 100th, not 1000th show.
Well, you know what? We'll have fun when we do the 1000th show. We'll be in, in nursing homes and that type of thing. But anyway, we'll have fun. And you know what? RVing is all about having fun.
It is.
With your title, editor of RV Life, tell us, Eileen, what you do on a day-to-day basis.
Well, I oversee the 6 blog sites those are consumer RV sites, and I handle the newsletters and their social media, and I do some of the marketing, branding, and some of the corporate communications, as well as our new RV Life Masterclass. It's an online learning platform.
What do you mean by that? Tell me what you mean by that.
RV Life Masterclass is part of the RV Life Pro. When you get the bundle for $59 annually, you get free access to these 6 signature courses that are by RVers for RVers, and it's lots of different topics about boondocking, mobile internet explained, road schooling, boot camp for buyers. It's really good information.
Now, interesting. You talked about road schooling, and some people called it homeschooling at one time. But wouldn't you agree? And you've been in the business for more than 20 years, which to me seems amazing. But since COVID, the industry has totally changed. Has it
totally changed? Oh my gosh, this is the tsunami. I mean, we've been for like the last 20 some years. We've been hoping to get RVing out to more people, but there was those barriers of money and time. And, so basically it was the older folks who had the time and who had the money. But now this work from home thing is totally here to stay. So it's wide open now. I mean, RVing really is for everybody now. It's awesome. It's such an exciting time.
Yep. And when we say work from home, home can be anywhere because you physically don't have to be in the office.
No.
I know that there's so many people that now are in their 20s and 30s, some with prior to children, some with infants, and some with kids that are a little bit older. You talked about road schooling. I'm going to ask you to expand a little bit about that, because isn't it cool that if you're talking about, a geography class and you want to see the Grand Canyon, but you go there and you look at its splendor.
Absolutely. It's a completely different experience when you're sitting in a classroom.
Yeah.
As opposed to you're actually there, it's like night and day. It's a really great experience.
What are some of the topics, the main topics that you get comments on? Because again, with 1.6 million subscribers, there's got to be feedback that ultimately gets back to you as far as what do people want to see more of?
It seems like, okay, so we have that many members, but then like on our blog sites, just on the 6 blog sites, just as of yesterday, the total number we had was like over 11 million users and 15.5 million sessions. That's a lot of blog, people looking at the blogs. So most of the stuff they want is like hacks, tips, short little bits of information, something that it's actionable, because we're all busy, and so it's good to have just get a bite-size amount of information. And if you want to go deeper, that's fine too. We've got that. But we have a real good frequency of lots of fresh content all the time. And it's mostly about RV hacks. It's not getting too technical.
Yep.
Because that's very specific to maybe your particular rig or, what you're doing. But general stuff like holding tank sensors, that's going like bananas right now.
Which never work.
Well, right. But it's how to clean them so that they do work better.
Right.
So stuff like that. Gray water hacks, lots of stuff about gray water, black water, actually.
Yeah. And you know what? It's interesting. This past year, when we get out to see dealers, and we're in New England and you're in California, but there were so many dealers that we talked to. We said, what was the biggest surprise that people had, when they were first-time RVers? And I had 3 dealers tell me that the biggest surprise was that they didn't know they had to clean out black tanks. They didn't know that was something that was required. And I'm sure, Eileen, whether it's a 45-foot diesel pusher, Prevost conversion, or a pop-up, the one thing we have in common is cleaning the tanks.
Yeah, everybody's least favorite chore. But
one thing that we used extensively this summer was the RV Life Trip Wizard. Talk a little bit about that, because that is really an amazing tool. And really, RV Life is just a set of tools, right?
It is a set of tools. Yeah, I mean, RV Life Pro, if you're a member, for $59, you get the Trip Wizard, you get RV Life Masterclass, you get RV maintenance, you get ad-free campground reviews, you get the app. So there's a lot of functionality to all that stuff. Trip Wizard, actually, if you guys are talking to Patrick or Andy, those guys know it like the back of their hand. I'm really more content, blog site kind of focused. So I don't want to say anything out of turn on that, but I use it and I think it's great.
Yeah. And the amazing thing that you said earlier when we began this conversation was most of our content is for RVers by RVers.
Oh yeah. No, these are RVers. Yeah. I worked at previous publications where that wasn't the case, but this is really genuine stuff.
And today it's changing all the time, because look, again, in your experience, there was one time that the pinnacle, you aspire to having a class A.
Yeah. Never
consider a B or a C.
Well, not until you get to that certain point, though, because remember, you go the Class C, you go the trailer, sorry, and then you go the Class C, Class A, and then you're like downsize. You go, I'll take a Class B. It's it's just us. Yeah.
Now Bs are the hottest part of the whole industry right now.
Yeah, one of our 6 blog sites is vanlifers.com and has a huge Instagram following. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah. And you mentioned that van aspect of it. There's so many different aspects of the van, of what you'd call a van, whether it's a DIY van that somebody put together on their own. They bought an old UPS truck or something and got rid of that brown color on it, but painted it up and cut a hole in the roof and put a skylight in, or bought what's the expensive one that's like over 200,000?
Pleasureway?
Yeah, Pleasureway.
Road Trek?
There, but
Road Trek?
Yeah, and I'm thinking of a specific one, the Airstream.
On the Sprinter, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The interstate.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember the exact
Yeah.
one. So what would you say to people, Eileen, as we close, that are haven't fully gotten into the RV lifestyle? They're kind of a hoarder.
Wow. Okay. Well, to me, the most important thing is freedom. I mean, it really unlocks so much freedom. You can go almost anywhere you want. And I think in this day and age, there's so many restrictions on things, and like you go to the airport, such a hassle.
Oh,
I mean, to have your own RV and go when you want, where you want. I mean, what could be better than that?
Yeah. I mean, we just had a situation this weekend where we had a wedding, and it was in a small town, not many hotels. Or put it this way, the hotels that were there were 25 miles away. So what did we do? Got in the RV, drove to the wedding. We're even able to stay in the parking lot of where the reception was.
Nice.
Perfect.
Yeah. Great.
So everybody wants to see it. They all want to, hey, can we take a look? And
yeah.
You give them water on the way in. The security guards, you always give them a bottle of water, that type of
and a swag bag on the way out.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, we want to thank you so much. And as we go through these next few weeks of right around our 100th show, we're going to be introducing our audience to many more members of behind the scenes that make RV life the fun place that it is. So Eileen, we want to thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me, John. I appreciate it.
We'll be back with more of the Camper Report Show right after this. Hey everybody, it's RVing in New England, and we are with the people that make RVing in New England so special, from this man, who's Bob Zagami, the executive director, to Sheriff Lou Evangelitis, and we're going to talk to him in a second, and Kurt Himmler from the RVTI. Mr. Zagami, tell us why we're here at the Sheriff's Office, and it's a very momentous occasion.
Well, we had a ceremony this morning graduating 4 students who are trained in Level 1 certification. They will be testing out this week from the RV Technical Institute. We worked the program out with Kurt Himmler and with the folks here at the Sheriff's Department, and couldn't be happier with the result and putting these people into a position of having a career, not a job, but a career in the RV industry.
Great. And Kurt, having this program, it really kind of sets the tone for what can happen nationally, right?
Oh, for sure. I mean, thanks to the sheriff and to all the folks that were involved in putting this together, it can become a signature program across the country, all starting right here in Worcester.
Right. And Sheriff Evangelitis, you opened your doors to the RVing education community, and your people really seem to embrace it. It's got to be special for you.
Well, it is. I mean, having Kurt and Bob here with us today, I mean, we've always believed here this is to be a true house of correction, and the best social program in the world is a job. And the RV industry has as many good paying jobs as any industry out there. So we're blessed to have them partner with us to really make us a prototype in a facility like this, to train people who are going to create and have the skills. And we had our first graduation today of 4. These guys are graduating with the skills to get out and work in the RV industry, making themselves $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year annually, providing for their family, giving themselves dignity, and making our world a better place. That's what it's about, and I'm so grateful for their partnership.
Right, and we have one of the best instructors in the country, in Chris Doherty. And Kurt, national, I say go national with this.
Mm-hmm. Well, as far as nationally, definitely, it can all start right here. 4 students might seem like a small population, but seeing their faces, knowing what their potential is now, and it all starting right here, definitely can be mimicked across the country.
And Bob, as far as your dealers are concerned, they all need help, don't they?
Every one of them. 35 dealers in 6 New England states, and every one of them could hire new technicians tomorrow.
Sheriff, final words.
I just said, as we talked to our graduates, their futures are unwritten, and they have been provided the skills and the abilities now to go out and have a great life. And that's what we want for them, because if they win, we all win.